transition in recent years. I think we take the view that we're well beyond a minimum viable product. We have a product which has standing within the payments industry space. We know it stands alone as a commercial against a commercial set of products. It's meeting the same standards. It can deliver the same as any of the commercial payment switch products. So we've reached a stage then where it's not a product in development, it's a complete product. And now we're into the next phase, enhancement and support. So this is where we're trying to find, trying to meet the requirements of the community, of adopters. So adding new features as they come along. And also, as I'll talk about in the roadmap session later today, that trying to look to see where industry developments are coming from outside the Moja community, and how we as a community need to meet those requirements. So we're at a stage now where finance is sometimes available, but rarely, frankly. And so we're now looking for the community and the adopters and our implementers to effectively finance the development of MojaLoop features from this point on. So we're looking for contributions. We're a true open source project. Anyone can develop software and contribute it, provided it meets our standards, and as made clear earlier on, provided it passes a number of quality gates. So all contributions are now either self-financed or, as we're increasingly seeing, financed by adopters who need a particular feature. There is one very large exception at the moment, and that's Tiger Beetle. Many of you will know that we have a fairly large, substantial effort underway to replace our central ledger, which is currently MySQL based, to one using the Tiger Beetle payments ledger technology. And that's being entirely financed by a partner project, the Tiger Beetle project. And we're very grateful for that. And that is going to be a fundamental change for MojaLoop, and all of our adopters will benefit from that in the coming months. So why do we think open source is important? Well, the principal thing is that any adopter or SI can download and install the software for free. Why does that matter? It's because there isn't a huge step you have to take in order to develop a payment service that can be made applicable to all of the financial players within an economy. So as we heard earlier, we wanted a switch that can support not just the large international banks who can afford to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to participate in a switch. We wanted something that is applicable to the smallest MFI, the smallest SACCO, and also that paid attention to the needs of those potential participants. And that a lot of the commercial players out there that provide switches, they are focused on the needs of the people who can pay most. Whereas we are very much focused on the needs of the people who can pay least, frankly. So it's not just software that you download for free and forget, and the open source community doesn't care about you. There is extensive documentation there, which is available on the various MojaLoop websites and in the GitHub repos. There's product level documentation where we talk about what the switch can do and the various aspects of functionality, not just the core itself, but the various overlay services, such as the merchant payments use case. And there is deeply technical documentation there as well. For anyone who wants to make changes to the MojaLoop Hub, the documentation is there to tell you exactly how it works now and what you need to do to make changes. We, the MojaLoop Foundation, will even advise you on every aspect of the software, its adoption, deployment, and the various use cases. And we don't make any charge for that. we're quite evangelical about the use of MojaLoop, so we want to talk about it. So come and talk to us about it, and we'll answer any question you have. And if you come up with something that we haven't thought about before, then we'll be very grateful, and we'll document that too. So yeah, talk to us. We want to hear your issues, your use cases. You can also see all the code. You can review all of the code. You can make any changes you want to suit your particular needs, your particular use cases. And you don't have to talk to the foundation or anyone within the Moja community, though we feel you should, to be honest. So as I've kind of hinted, there are no obligations. You can download the software, you can install it, you can deploy it, you can connect lots of DFSPs up. You don't have to talk to us at all. There are no obligations. But we would ask that if you develop any new features that could be useful to other people within the Moja community, then please contribute them back so that everyone can benefit from them. I mean, the important point is that there's no one in the Moja community who's competing with you. It's all collaborative. We want you to work with us to make Moja a better product. So, but it's important to emphasize, Moja will only improve, will only get new features if adopters and others begin working on those features to the benefit of all adopters, and that includes you. There's one thing that I've tried to do in recent months and years is to get people to come along to Product Council to talk about what they want and how we can better meet your needs. And we continue to do that, and we've tried to also to extend the basis of Product Council to include looking at features that may come along in the future, so that you can start to think about them and start to prepare for them. And also, ideally, we can start to define new work streams to meet those requirements. So I'm going to be talking about the MojaLoop roadmap later today. There are features in there that you will think that's not relevant to me now. But the point is, we can see them coming. They're happening elsewhere in the payments ecosystem around the world. And you will begin to need those features. Maybe not today, but in the next year, next 2 years, next 5 years. And we need to start thinking about them now. And collaboration is the key here. There's very little point in Paul Makin sitting there in a kind of ivory tower or in grand isolation, thinking about these features and creating work streams to deliver them. There's no value in that unless adopters come along and talk about them as well and collaborate with each other and with the MojaLoop Foundation to better define features that meet your needs and to help implement them. And as this slide says, it has to be the enhancements that most people in the community agree are the most important. They will be prioritized. How do you influence it? Well, I've said Product Council. Come along and tell us what you think. Tell us what features you need. Tell us what you think should be on the roadmap. Tell us if you think that the things on the roadmap are not going to be relevant to you in the near future. And if you have a specific high priority requirement, come and join the Product Council Slack channel and come and tell us. Come and talk to us. Come along, as I say. If you come to me directly and tell me about it, then I can arrange a Product Council session, and you can evangelize your requirement to everyone else in the Moja community. We also, if you're shy about talking to people, you can complete a form. That if you go to Moja Community Central, at the top right on the banner, there is a button there which allows you to suggest a product requirement. But if you don't tell us about your needs, if you don't tell us about a problem that you've had that you need help solving, it'll never make it onto the roadmap. So you'll get sick of me saying this, but just come and talk to us and tell us what the problems are, and we can collaborate and work to resolve those issues. I'm going to briefly go through the areas where we need collaboration at the moment. I'm going to go into a lot more depth in the roadmap session later today, but a brief taster of where we need help. First of all, I want to emphasize that we are not an open source project that exists in some sort of grand isolation. We collaborate ourselves with many other open source projects. I asked Sam, who is in charge of the product quality security team, to tell me roughly how many other external open source projects that we work with and that we are dependent on. And he told me that there's somewhere between 400 and 500 unique first level open source projects that we are involved with. Well, specific modules rather than projects. And that's incredible to me. First level means we directly incorporate them into our code. Those projects, of course, have dependencies as well. And there's an astonishing, Sam estimated it as somewhere between 3,500 and 4,000 nested dependencies. And so this is just to emphasize where we need support. If a vulnerability is found in any of those 4,000 odd different nested dependencies or some functionality changes, MojaLoop needs to be updated. And this is one of the reasons why MojaLoop regularly updates and produces new releases on a fairly regular basis. When we say bug fixes, etc., this is very often what we're referring to. It's an issue in an external open source project. Sam leads the team that fixes this. There are a number of volunteers that contribute to this. It would be great if we could increase this team. And Sam would welcome you with open arms if you're able to support him on this. Just wanted to briefly introduce you to the release schedule. We are releasing MojaLoop 17.2. Sam and James are going to talk about MojaLoop 17.2 today, so I won't talk about that any further. We're already anticipating and working towards a MojaLoop 17.3. We expect that to happen sometime before the next MojaCom, and there's some very interesting new features that will come along with that. But the big change is going to be MojaLoop 18, which will be somewhere in H2 this year. And that's where we see the migration to Tiger Beetle as the central ledger technology. And in support of that, there is an entirely new accounting model, which Robert Ron has approved as an accountant. Speaking as a technologist myself, the new accounting model looks upside down, but that's how accountants work. And we're also introducing settlement v3, a new settlement model, and reports and many changes to the reporting portal. So we have immediate needs. Our current priorities are PISP 2.0. We want to improve the logging in the various MojaLoop modules. We have an audit capability at the moment. We're trying to upgrade that to forensic standard audit, so tamper evident. And we need help in developing around Tiger Beetle, the Tiger Beetle ecosystem, as I call it, which is changes to settling and changes to reporting. Join the various workstream Slack channels. The Slack channels all begin with #ws. Whatever the workstream is called. Come along onto the MojaLoop Slack and have a look, see where you might be able to contribute. And come to Product Council, as I've already said. Medium term, these are things that we're going to need over the next year, say. We know offline payments is becoming important in some jurisdictions. Offline payments are never going to be part of MojaLoop. MojaLoop is exclusively online. However, we need a strategy here because we need to be able to support offline payments as a companion scheme to MojaLoop, which is what a number of potential adopters are looking at the moment. So we need people to help us think about that and work towards a proof of concept there. We need people to contribute to a community debate around support for MSMEs in cross-border payments. Specifically, how do you identify the MSME once you cross a border? That's not as easy as it sounds, I promise you. We want adopters and SIs to engage with us in discussions around ISO 222 and potential tensions with some of the SWIFT ISO 222 messaging standards. And we need engineering assistance. You'll all have heard of quantum computers. Well, at some point within the next 5 years, quantum computers are going to become capable of breaking our crypto. So but we know there are post-quantum algorithms out there. NIST, the standard organization in the US, has defined a set, and we need engineering assistance to migrate our crypto to those post-quantum algorithms. And that's going to become essential within the next 2 to 5 years. So this is our medium-term roadmap. I'll go into more detail later, but basically the color code is green lines are strategy, business definition, and essentially collaboration in terms of market strategy. The blue lines are technical, where we need engineering help. So you can see the majority of help we need is engineering. Longer term, but we need to start thinking now. There are 2 big long-term changes that we've identified across the payment space. One is changes in regulation and compliance. You've all heard about RegTech, SupTech. Well, the change that's coming along in support of those is machine-readable regulation. And that's going to be something that will affect us within 5 years, thereabouts, and maybe sooner in the area of QA. And also AI. We've also all heard the noise about AI. Frankly, anyone who considered adopting AI at the moment to manage a Mojaloop deployment would be less than sensible, shall we say. But it will happen. It will happen in the 5-year plus timescale, I'm sure. And it's in the areas of hub operations, quality assurance, and TFSP integration. We need to start thinking about these. We need to establish working groups to start to shape our strategy and our approach to these changes. We are not saying there's going to be any engineering interest in either of those in the next few years, but we need strategic thinking around these right now. So, as you can see in the area of machine-readable regulation, it's all about working groups and strategy for the next 2 years. And then we're going to start thinking about machine-readable and executable regulation after that and implementing it. Similarly, AI. We're not going to do anything at the moment, except there's one oddity here you might notice. Machine-readable QA framework. We have a QA framework already that KPMG in Kenya developed for us, and we're seeking to collaborate with KPMG to enhance that into a machine-readable form, which is potentially extremely valuable and feeds directly into this one, which is more long-term, which is an AI-powered QA assessment of deployments. But for the next couple of years, the primary call where we need collaboration is assistance in defining strategy. So join working groups, business leaders, regulatory leaders. We want you to come and talk to us about what you think our strategy should be. But as I think you probably have gathered from this presentation, none of this is going to happen. None of this matters without an engaged, productive collaborator community. And we, as a community, as a foundation, we need to do more to convert observers and adopters to become contributors. We have taken some first steps, and I hope that some of you have felt that, and we have high hopes. let's watch this space. We'll continue to do whatever we can to try and engage contributions. I'm now going to hand over to Nathan in the room, who I hope is going to lead you in some questions and a debate. Nathan.
Good morning. So my name is Nathan from the MojaCom Foundation. So thanks to Paul McKean for the presentation. Earlier this morning, Steve presented the bodies of MojaCom, and they have a role to play. But in this presentation, you see everyone in the community have a role to play. And in this open discussion, we will try to find out how we can improve the contributions, how we can increase the contribution. So it's an open discussion, meaning everyone can speak, everyone must speak. MojaCom, the MojaCom product is not owned by the MojaCom Foundation. It's your product, so you have your word. You need to say what you think that could improve the contributions. So I will start with my own question, and then we will go into discussions. Everyone is allowed to have his questions. So for the first one, I would like to address it more to SIs, not only to SIs, but there are those I want to target first. We need to discuss what are the blockers to contributions. So I know here some people are used to contribute, some not. And I would like some people from the community to rise, take the mic, and share what are the blockers, what the pain points in the contribution. So I would like to remind, contribution is not only about code. There are a lot of things in which you can contribute. So the code is important, but there are other things. So I will, you can raise your hand. I will give you the floor. Okay. I would like to give to Max from Wiredin. So from your experience, yeah, someone can give a mic to Max, please. So from your experience, did you face any blockers in your contribution?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maximilien Wingabo. I'm a DevOps lead at Wiredin. So I had a chance to work on 2 MojaCom deployment. That means working across different versions of MojaCom. So I decided to start contributing. So as a DevOps engineer, mainly my contribution focus on testing new releases. So one of the most impressive aspect of MojaCom is that it's easy to set up locally. So you can test every release, the Helm release. You can just pull the latest from MojaCom registry. Then in a few minutes, try to install it locally on your local machine. That's actually a plus. So you can contribute by testing the deployment. That means testing the deployment artifact, and also by leveraging the MojaCom testing toolkit, you can also run tests to check if all functionalities are intact across all versions. And also what I can add, the collaboration from MojaCom Foundations. For instance, I tested version 17.2.0 in CRE phases. So I've identified some issues within the deployment artifact and also within the functionalities. So I just reported them to the MojaCom Foundation, and the collaboration, they seem to fix and also to to also fix and do a new release. That's actually my positive experience with contributing, and also not only planning to report bugs, but some planning also to start fixing those bugs and make pull requests. Thank you very much.
Great. So this is a positive feedback. Yeah, congratulations. A positive feedback on the how it's easy to contribute to MojaLoop. So as I was telling, contribution is not only about code. So doing a test, reporting some issues is a contribution. So I will also give to Keen from Pizza Walk. So yeah, somebody can give the mic to.
Hello, I'm Ken from the Sawa team. I'm performing as an enterprise architect in the Sawa. So for the contribution period for the Mujalu is that's the two things. One is a prefix. So prefix is we can submit the pull request and can submit can contribute well. But for the some additional feature, that's more than the prefix. So for those things, we are developing the specific requirement of our project. So if we try to contribute back to the community, so it need to be more generalized to be reused by other community. So in that case, if we engage with the design authority or something like that, so we need to make our project into more abstract layer. We need to generalize it. So in that case, we need to do the architecture decision. We need to redesign or recode or something like that. That need to be done. So for that case, we need the some effort and time. Meanwhile, we are also delivering our specific feature within the timeline to our specific customer. So the barrier, it is a good practice to align with the modular architecture, but we have that kind of time constraint to give the effort to contribute the more bigger feature. Yes.
Great. So if I understand, one of the challenges is you have some specific contract request, and you need to progress faster. So sometimes you don't have the time to follow the process in MojaLoop to contribute directly into the code of MojaLoop. But let me ask a question. After you do these changes for your own project, do you have any plan to contribute back to the community?
Oh yes, definitely. We want to, as a TESAWA, we want to contribute our experience and our benefits and our feature to the community. But then only other adopter aside where we easily to adopt the Mujalu can implement the Mujalu, so we can more onboard the more customer. Yeah, we can broaden our community. So definitely we have the plan and we are willing to contribute back.
That's great. I think in a few minutes we'll come back again on the why we need to contribute back to the community. But before that, I want to give the word to not an SI, but raise your hand, Chancel from Benin. You wanted to ask a question? Chancel, yeah, please.
Thanks. My name is Chancel, and my question is, what are the first steps to start contributing to MojaLoop improvements, and how does the validation and the quality assurance process works for new submissions?
Okay, so this is a practical question. Someone who want to contribute and don't know where to start. I don't know if Sam is online. If Sam is here, I will maybe ask him to just respond to this question.
Sure, Nathan. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. So typically in meetings like this, we have this covered in our contribution process. I would share the screen, but I'm not sure if that's visible now. I'll share and if you can see it, what you see is at meetings like this, for example, for those of you who are able to see screen, all the community comes together along with the Mojalo Foundation team, and the Mojalo Foundation and the community members do some brainstorming, what's happening now at tea breaks probably, or during sessions also, of course, where we gather the requirements and discuss with the product council. And Mojalo follows something called the scaled agile framework, where we break down our program increments into sprints. And then Paul talked about the various work streams where the work happens, and then you also see the release process here. I won't go into detail here, but this is the fundamental outline of it. And then once that product feature is identified as something that Mojaloop needs and fits in with the roadmap and pipeline that we have, then it goes into the technical side without focusing too much on the detail. We can see that if it is a consequential change, Mojaloop Design Authority looks into it, and then it goes to the work stream to implement it. So then we'll come to the pull requests, tickets on GitHub or issues, and then reviews. So we have for quality and assurance, we have a full CI/CD checklist. For example, we have anywhere between 14 to 20 different steps, which include testing unit tests, integration tests, tests for vulnerabilities, audits, license checking, things like that, which happen automatically. But most importantly, we also have subject matter experts who review these changes to ensure that they can be merged, and then these are merged into main branches, released automatically. It might look like a long process, but there is support along along the way at each step to make sure that the effort is made as seamless as possible. Ethan, thanks for that. If anyone else is interested in or interested in getting into more detail, we can definitely discuss it. We have obviously in the room all Mojalo Foundation staff, or on Slack. Paul and I are there as well. Thank you, Nathan.
Great. Thank you, Sam, for the answers. So I hope the answer was clear. So if you need more details, you can get in touch with us for more help. So I will give the opportunity to the people in the public. If you have some questions, it's the time to raise your hand. Okay, I see one hand there.
Thank you, Nathan. My name is Jaros Gogo from the Central Bank of Liberia. I want to know what's stopping one from contributing.
Okay, great. So I think this is a question for the public again. So anyone want to answer, anyone to raise a question? It's your time. Do you have any thought regarding that? What can we do to make you successful? So as some people in this room here who want to contribute, some already contributed, some not. So what can Mojaloop do to make you successful? So it's an open question. Anyone is allowed to raise a hand to contribute. Okay, okay. I will allow to James to speak first.
Thank you, Nathan. I was really just pointing out that Elijah had his hand up. But before I hand the mic to Elijah, I just want to make it clear that the documentation Sam was showing with the diagrams of the process to follow and the lots of words about why the process exists and how it works, that's available through the Mojaloop website, mojaloop.io. So on the website, you'll see links to various sections. One of them is called Community. If you click on the Community link, that will take you to the launching page for all of the community documentation that will help you understand the community, how it works. There's a contributor's guide there, where much of what's been talked about by Sam, Nathan, and the others in the room so far is laid out for you to read at your own pace. But now let me hand over to Elijah.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Nathan. I think in regard to the question, how can the Mojaloop Foundation make it easier for people to contribute. I think the Modular Foundation has made it, has done whatever they can do, to make it possible for us to contribute. And it's on the onus of, all community members to use the facilities that are in place. As you can see, there's a ton of documentation online. There is help from the community members. As is the case with a big project and a complex project like this, if you ask how can you make it easier to contribute to MojaLoop, you might as well ask the same about how to contribute to Android. So it's not going to be easy. So you have to put in some effort to interact with the community members and whoever is already involved in the project, and read the documentation, try to test, like a colleague from Wardin, try to test the product. If you have any testing difficulties that you find, you can report that, or even you can move ahead to actually try and fix the problem, if the ticket is there. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks for the contribution. Okay, there is one hand just here. Yes, please. So I think you will be the last person. I'm notified we are out of time. Okay.
How can we make it easier for people to contribute? And one of the things that comes to my mind is in other places when I've seen there be a big community, you start having local communities. So you have a Kenya MojaLoop community, you have a Uganda MojaLoop community, and this MojaLoop community will visit universities to try and evangelize the adoption of these APIs. They will reach out to other developers within their communities. It's been a while, but say if something is written in TypeScript, so you will find the MojaLoop community interacting with the TypeScript community, so in Nairobi, and it creates a lot of excitement so that people actually want to contribute, because there are people who do not know. But if, for example, we are using TypeScript and there's a Nairobi TypeScript community, if it's possible, MojaLoop should engage that community, tell them that there's this project that you are working on, has a global significance, will give you global visibility, and I think that will encourage people a bit more to contribute. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for the question, for the answer. We have more people who want to speak. I think we are okay. Last answer from yes, from you.
Yeah, thank you, Nathan. My name is Malim. I'm from Arswich. Obviously, I'm from the adopter side. Mine is more of a question for basically the community at large. One of the key reasons why I think we adopt the platform, obviously, is for the sovereignty part of it. But also the other very important aspect is the cost. And the reason why cost is important is because this is an inclusive ecosystem. We need to make sure that we run it at the lowest cost possible. But then I see a lot of good things in the roadmap in terms of especially automation, and that's one of the key areas that actually drives the cost down. When you have automation in regression testing, automation in deployment, automation in even root cause analysis automation, that helps quite a lot. But also you also have different markets with their own different customizations that probably begs the compatibility, right? So things like automated upgrade that could be a lot cheaper maybe with the common core framework, that becomes difficult. Now my question is, how do we strike this balance? You know, when you have the product already in the market, that you need to balance the customizations, and we need to be on the main branches that we can actually, adapt this automation that are all coming. So what kind of, from a community point of view, from adopters point of view, how do we strike this balance to ensure that, because if the cost goes up, then we have actually lost the purpose in the first place, right? So we don't want to surprise business some months down the line or some years down the line, that's gonna cost you this much to do an upgrade, which wasn't factored for. So how do we strike this balance? I mean, this is a question for me to the general,
Good. Thank you, Malim, for this answer. It's an interesting answer. Unfortunately, we don't have time to dig into it. So I know we'll have a lot of discussions after the break time. So what I will say from what I understood so far in the discussions, is people are engaged, and you need to own more MojaLoop, the solution of MojaLoop. You need to participate. The question Malim asked, it's a good question to ask in the work streams, with the DAs. So we encourage you to discuss as a community to find out some answers, and also to share with the bodies of MojaLoop. So I will give back the floor to Plume for the next step. So as James was telling, the link on how to contribute to MojaLoop is on the website of MojaLoop. If you do the research, you will find how to contribute. You have some documentation on how to proceed, and Plume and me, we are available as well to help you to go to the first step. Or if you are facing some issue, we can support you. Thank you very much.